Yay!
Hey,
Yay!
Peter and Catalina here.
Mm,
This is my beautiful friend in the Netherlands, uh,
Yay!
who, we were just chatting today about how things, how people are coping with the emotional aspect of what's going on. And I just wanted, Catalina, if you wanted to say a few words about what you do. What's your niche?
Huh. So first of all, before presenting myself and all that, mm, let's go back to basics. Let's go back to basics and drink some water and get some
I
deep.
have a smoothie. Smoothie.
Huh?
I have a
Yeah,
smoothie.
yeah, and then breathe because it's gonna come in handy at this moment in our life, right? I live in the Netherlands. Netherlands is shutting down actually as we speak for about 3 weeks. I don't know how is it exactly in England, in the UK actually.
So
So
we haven't officially shut down yet, but we've
mhm.
been advised to. Obviously, the elderly have been advised to isolate, or
Uh-huh,
anybody with any immunocompromised
uh-huh,
situation has
uh-huh.
been asked to self-isolate.
Yeah,
But I believe your schools are all shut now. Is
right.
that correct?
Yes, in the
Yeah.
Netherlands. So to me, my life it's about human flourishing.
Mm.
And irrespective of what's happening outside, and we're going to talk about this. So for me, I work with leaders, with overwhelmed leaders, and in our work we aim to delete stress, to create clarity and help
Mm.
them increase their impact both professionally and in their private life,
Mm.
because that's very important. And of course we look at the business aspects as well. Having had been in business for 30 plus years, first as a international banker working all over the world, and then executive coach to overwhelm bankers, and now I opening up with whoever let's say vibrate at the same level with me, because we
Mm.
attract each other, who we help in life and support. So,
Mm.
and I'm going to do more and more online. I've started already. But that's for me, it's very important. And number one, the most important for me in life is making sure that the next generation is growing up into healthy, well-rounded, and happy adults. So I have 3 children at home uh, who literally are at home right now. So uh, one is a student, so she came back home, and 2 teenagers. So that's the perfect opportunity for this topic, because you can imagine having 3 teenagers, well, one adult and 2 teenagers at home for about 3 weeks. That's an interesting way on how to flourish in these days, right?
Mm.
So we go back to basics.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because what we see, probably you see as well, many people socialize, go out. It's nice, we bond with people. And some people overdo it. They socialize too much. Why? They don't want to be actually together with the family. It's too much, bring up
Mm.
stuff, right? So
Mm.
now you imagine for these people, and actually for everybody, being the whole time together for a number of weeks, it's going to bring up stuff.
Mm.
So how do we deal with that
Mm.
and not only survive but thrive? So that's the question, and I want to explore with you right now. And
Yeah.
I have some ideas. And my point is, like, I want to go live more often,
Yeah.
hopefully to for the benefits of people and for my benefit as well, because that's we are in this together. This is something that hasn't happened before in my generation, and I'm 52, right? So how do we deal at our best with this?
I just
So
wanted to add something to what you've just mentioned, and my Indian friends online who are listening will probably share my thoughts on this or laugh with me on this. we've always with our
Yay! I
families.
love India. Yeah, and Indian
Um,
people. Yay!
uh,
Yes.
you know, and part of it is you're right, is how do we live together? And something you mentioned earlier before we went on this call was what's happening in Belgium, who actually have been on lockdown, and people
There you
are,
go. Yeah.
you explain to me what's going on, because that is totally a mindset thing, right?
Exactly. And people go out. People go to the pubs as well, right? In the UK.
Mm.
And the restaurants and cafes were shut down in Belgium while they were still open in the Netherlands. So people are creative, right? When we have boundaries, we become creative within the boundaries. So this cafe or restaurant tourism has emerged, and they cross the border. The Belgium crossed the borders to come to the Netherlands to enjoy the restaurants and cafes. Not anymore, but this is what's happening, right?
Mm.
To cut possibilities and options that people have, and then they look for something else. Now, the question is, that something else, is it helping you to flourish or not?
Yeah.
And is it helping you? Is this an opportunity for you to elevate your life and face? Some people will face their demons, right? But to move forward,
Mm.
grow out of this experience, right?
Yeah, yeah. I personally, I like my own company. I like
Me
yours, and I like my friends
too.
as well. But
Yeah.
I think the biggest part is, you know, you saying people are or were crossing the border to come to the restaurants in the Netherlands. Is I think the whole part of this isolation and so it's not about cutting social contact. It's cutting social contact where you are in proximity to other people. So like going to restaurants and pubs and things like that. But you know, something we were talking about is that this is a time I believe for people to just step back and reflect on their own life, reflect on, you know, how they've been living, what's been going on, some decisions they've been making. And I see it as a gift. I see it as a gift to really slow down
Yeah.
and slow down and maybe stop to some point where you're not, you're actually, I think it's going to force us to live a little bit consciously, because
Mm-hmm.
if you're being forced now to not go out, to not, you know, you're being forced to not socialize or run away from your demons. You're gonna have to face them. So it's a bit like, I don't know if you've done it before, but it's a bit like Vipassana, which is the silent. It's not meditation, but it's living in silence for 3 to 7 days, where you actually have to deal with what's going on inside there, right?
Yeah, and this is a great point you make, because I had my first Vipassana in 2011. Every difficult thing brings amazing gift if we
Yeah.
allow ourselves to be in it. For me, and this is, take this Vipassana discussion as a metaphor
Mm.
for your situation right now. I'm not saying that everybody should do Vipassana.
Yeah.
To me, what it brought, actually, being in a small room with 4 women at night and not looking at each other. So you go within. That's your world.
Mm.
Cutting up. So there were many restrictions, and 16 hours of meditation a day. However, by day 2, and this was happening in April, actually, everything was blossoming, and I was suffering of hay fever. By day 2, I had a very powerful insight during the meditation. And it took me until the evening to realize that I was not sneezing anymore. And I had a spontaneous remission from hay fever, never came back. So brought me on the path of meditation, on a daily basis. So I started with Vipassana. So that was the gift for me. And it was a superb experience, mind you, very difficult. So this, make this Vipassana for you. Go within as well as discovering, and within can be within the family, and within your own community at home, and discover, find your own gifts. Not to say that I think that an important thing to do is to think about people in our environment that don't have families and they live by themselves, and make sure that we reach to them. And I'm not saying that those people feel lonely, because, like you and me, we love our company, and we can go a lot with us. But there are people that find it more difficult. In any case, I think that's one of the most beautiful things that we can do in this period, is to reach out in an elegant and mindful, respectful manner to those that are alone, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so. And I was going to ask you that question. What could be some strategies that we could actually use this time for our benefit, and not think of it as a restriction or a burden? What can we do? And that would be one of the things, is to go within and maybe do some journaling. And talk to people. I was talking to a group that Yes Group. We had a call last night, and someone suggested on the call that it was a good time to reach out to people he hadn't reached out to for a long time, family members that he hadn't reached out to. So it's a good time to check in with people, and it's a good time to I don't know, show that we care. It's a good time. I see it as this slowing down. And as we slow down, we have more conscious awareness of what's going on around us, and within us. And I think it's a good time to reach out to people on your street. And to be honest, if I look down my road, I've been living here for a long time, so I know a few people, but there's loads of people I don't know on my street that may be vulnerable, that may be isolated with no family here.
And if you don't want to do it physically, which might be wise for some, just find their number and go through the social media. Use the social media as a tool to help you create authentic nourishment, right? And not be used by social media. So that's a thing too important. And that's another thing. So you wanted to say something else more about this? Because something popped into my mind that I want to focus on. Look, I am a busy woman, and I cook for my family with lots of love, right? When we go out to restaurants, and then it's great food. But it's also important to remember that some of the cooks at some of the restaurants that we go are stressed, and they don't think about putting the most important vitamin in the food, vitamin L, which is love, into the food. And we can do this at home. So for me, that's going to be an important focus point, because, that's an important thing, what we are going to focus on in the next period, right? Because where focus goes, energy flows, as we know. Cooking family meals together and be more conscious about the love that I put into the food, and cooking clean, cooking consciously. So nurturing, I'm talking about authentic nurturing. So nurture the home cooking. And that's maybe something for many people who are busy and they don't have, when they cook, they cook quickly or whatever it is. Now to slow down and reflect, start reflecting on more easy thing than rather the demons, right? What does home cooking mean to you?
Mm.
Is this something that you invest your time in? Is this something that you look forward to, or it just feels like a chore, And what is your level of satisfaction with home cooking? And now, if you have kids, that's the perfect moment to do something together, not just only cooking by yourself and just calling the kids, oh, come to food, come to have a meal, and then everybody goes to their own place in the house, but just take time in preparing the meals together and deciding what we are going to cook and talk about this, because food is love, right? Food is nourishment. So this is one activity that can help also bring people together, and teenagers even more involved in the activities in the house. And
Yeah,
it's a yeah.
I think that's a big point you make there. Obviously, coming, and I know you're in the same field as well, nutrition and nourishment. Um, I'm a big advocate of making your own food, because you know what goes in there, and
Yes.
the more we do that, regardless of this period, I think we're forced to do it in this period. But
Yes.
the more we do that, the better we get, just not from the nourishment, from the nutrients,
Yeah.
but the food, right? And the
Yeah.
energy content of the intention that we put into it is big as well. So it's a good time if you're not if you don't make your food, or if you buy a lot of pre-packaged, pre-made food, this is the time to make some of your own stuff, and make it simple, make it easy, make it fun. Like you say, involve. If you've got kids, brothers, sisters, involve them, and get everyone. Make it about family and unity. I think that community part is the big part that is going to come in with this, is that we are all going to unite from this, together, and support each other. And what a great way to do it. And also the cooking part is also for, if you've got somebody down your street, an elderly person who actually can't cook, I think it's our obligation to be able to make that little bit extra, and
Totally agree.
support and serve.
Totally agree. I have my neighbor, he's 87, and this man helped me fulfill my dream of playing piano. I've started to learn piano at 45, and he was my teacher for many years. So he's 87 now. So what we do, we cook food, because he's sick now at this moment, and then we bring him 3 times a week. We bring him food, and I tell you, I don't know who is happier, he or us. Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Wow.
And because food is love, we keep saying, and by bringing a loving attention to food, to home cooking, as an act of self-care as well, and this will help us enjoy more health and happiness, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And let's look for progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
And start with small steps, because I know that you are like me, an advocate for small steps, and not just, and one more strategy for people. I don't like, at this moment in my life, I'm not an advocate of restrictions. You can't eat, da, 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 da. But I am sometimes it's needed. But I am more a fan of crowding out. And crowding out meaning, instead of saying, I'm not going to eat sugar, by the way, who is it's so addictive. Instead of saying, I'm not gonna eat sugar anymore, focus on upgrading what we are doing, bringing more of the highly nutritional foods into our diet, which will give us a feeling of satiety, and slowly crowding out the others. Because the moment, the brain goes crazy when we take something that the brain loves, right? But instead of that, using the strategy of crowding out, so bringing more highly nutritional foods, nuts and dark green vegetables and whatever nice meats for those eating meats, whatever it is, bring it high quality, highly nutritious, focus on that, and slowly crowding out those that are not so nourishing.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you. I think the more you resist, it will persist. So, you with your brain, if you can, like you say, crowd it out, it's a really good strategy to use, and focus on nutrition, focus on good foods. Most of the time,
authentic nutrition, nourishment.
Most of the time, when we eat junk food, it's processed and pre-made, right? So if you're now starting to make food from home, it's a good time to be able to make. So if you do the sweet tooth, make it at home, right?
Yes.
Make some nice, lovely dark chocolate at home. It's delicious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nuts and seeds and things like that.
Dark chocolate is something I'm not gonna crowd out.
No. Yeah. Me neither.
Yay! Yeah.
I would love to hear from any of you that are online watching. What are some of your strategies? And also, what are some of the things that you think may be an issue for you or anyone around you? There are many people here online and on this call. When I've looked through that have got amazing strategies for support. We would love to be able to help you and help you move forward. I think, and come out stronger the other side, right? You're not going to be weaker. You're going to be stronger. That
at least we do our best. We do our best to get healthier and stronger, right? And actually, we're gonna continue our conversation other days. So just right, let's see what people want more. We'd love to continue. Okay.
Awesome. So thank you, Catalina, for joining me today. You can host the next one.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone who was
with
online.
Catalina, with Gita and Catalina.
Yeah, with Gita and Catalina.
How to thrive.
How to thrive and strive.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Until next
time.
Love
you and love
you. Yes, we love you.
Love.
See you soon.
Stronger and keeps our immune system stronger. Seriously.
Totally.
Love. Tons of love and have an amazing day. Love you, Tons.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.